Hello and welcome along. This is another watercolor that we're doing, just some waves coming in onto some sand. So a lot of action there with those waves with this watercolor, starting with our watercolor drawing there. You can see the sky area we're going to do, the foreground there. So just wetting the paper with some nice clean water. I'm not going to go, there's a piece of land there on the right hand side. I won't go over that with the water, and we'll just stop at the horizon there of the ocean. We won't go over there. So when we do our sky, that paint won't run into the ocean. So for the sky, I've got a mixture of Prussian blue with a little bit of dark leaf green and just the tiniest bit of Payne's grey, and that's all mixed together to give us a wash. And here we go. So you can almost see that Prussian blue there with the dark leaf green mixed in there. Bit of Payne's grey, just a bit more Payne's grey I think we'll put in as well, like so. Just a lovely diffused sky, that's all we want. I'm just going to let that paint run now. Paper's nice and wet, so we should get a really, really nice soft sky, a sort of a cloudy, overcast sky. Looks like we might have to put a little bit more watercolor paint down with that same mixture. Just a bit, not much. Just down below where we've done, just here. We don't have much time to do this because the paper is drying all the time. So we'll just tip the board up, let it run. Sorry, I'm tipping this on a really steep angle here, so my apologies. You can't see much there, but I want the paint to run almost down to the level of the ocean. There we go. I'm just going to tip it up the other way, just slightly. All right, I think that'll do it. Just fix up around there a little bit. So we'll just let that dry. It'll dry a little bit lighter than what it is. And we'll start on the ocean. So we've got some Prussian blue there mixed with a tiny little bit of ultramarine and a little bit of dark leaf green in there as well. Just nice and steady along the horizon. I'm just leaving some gaps of white there. Just leaving some areas of white there, just to give the illusion of some white caps out there on the ocean. Using the same mixture, just continuing along now. You can see what I'm doing there, just bringing the Just blending the colours through now. It's just some yellow ochre now. We'll go over that again. You can still see the yellow ochre in behind it in places. Some burnt umber going on now. Just some white gouache coming in here now. Just putting that white wash through in areas there, just to give the impression of some foam, just random. And we want another wave on the right hand side. We want that wave continuing, coming along the right hand side and just raging onto the beach sort of thing, you know. We just want to darken up in some areas with those waves, just to give it a more of a three-dimensional look. So just in here, just slightly darker with Prussian blue and a bit of dark leaf green in there. And we're going to bring that back a bit. It's a bit too stark, so that's okay. We'll bring that back just to blend it in more. Of course, that will fade back as well. And we'll bring some more white foam in through there just to sort of break it up a bit as well. Go with the white foam, a little bit of white foam there. That's just breaking it up a bit more. So that's given it a little bit more depth in there. That white gouache can come in come in handy because it's a white watercolor paint, but it's a paint that is opaque. Whereas a normal white watercolor paint is more translucent. You can water down the white gouache and make it a little bit more translucent if you wish in areas. Or you can just use some, if you want it to be translucent, just use normal white watercolor paint. But certainly the white gouache will absolutely go over another color. You just need to let it dry, and then it'll go over another color and be completely white, which is really handy. Just got to fix up the foreground as well, the sandy area. We want that, we just want the water to be flowing through. There's nothing much else going on, except for the water flowing in onto the beach. And we'll actually cover up that piece of land on the right hand side. We'll put a bit more colour over that as well. Always use the masking tape around the picture. Well, I do anyway. It just stops your page from curling up. You will get a tiny bit of buckling, but certainly if it's taped down, you won't get much. And then if you let it dry completely and then take the masking tape off, your paper should be fairly flat. But for these videos, I take the masking tape off before it's completely dry, and then if I do want to flatten it out completely, I'll just put some heavy books on top of my watercolour painting with some nice clean paper in between the painting and the books. So we've got a nice looking sky there that has diffused really, really well. This is a mixture of a little bit of yellow ochre and a tiny bit of burnt umber. Some white gouache. Just going to smooth out the edges first, then we'll put some white gouache down. There's the white gouache, a little bit watered down. So we're just going to let that, on the left-hand side, we just want to drag some ocean colour through onto the sand a bit as well. We'll get to that in a minute. some Viridian Green going in there. Tiny bit of Viridian Green. Actually, no, I don't think that is the Viridian Green. My apologies. That's ultramarine blue, but really watered down, a nice watered down mix. But I will be putting some Viridian Green in. Just darkening up in some areas, making it a little bit more three-dimensional just in some areas. And out into the ocean we'll have to darken up a couple of waves there too. I still want to fix up that piece of land on the right hand side. Looks a little bit, I don't know, it just looks a bit too brown, so we might just put another colour over that. We'll get to that. Okay, so that's nearly, just bring some colour through. This is the Viridian Green I was telling you about. It's a very light wash of that. I think that's just about done. Again, we need to just not change the colour totally, but put some more colour over that piece of land on the right hand side. I'm just going to darken up under some waves here. Well, not right now, but I will get to that. just those waves out on the ocean in the distance I'm talking about. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, we'll be taking the masking tape off fairly soon. This paper I'm using, it's 100% cotton watercolor paper. So it's a very strong paper. The fibers won't lift on this paper. You can really give it a bit of punishment and it'll remain really good. So the fibers of the paper won't start lifting. It's just a great paper to paint on, and the colours really blend in together very well on this paper. 100% cotton watercolour paper. I do use other watercolour paper as well. If you're a supplier or manufacturer or seller, supplier, seller of watercolours, and you want me to try your brand of watercolour out, I'm more than happy to do that and do a review for you, what I think about it anyway. The white watercolour gouache that I'm using is by Art Spectrum. And some of the other colours that I'm using are from Winsor and Newton. All right, I think we will continue with this foam along here. We'll be taking off the masking tape soon. Just crashing those two waves there together. A couple of birds up in the sky, a couple of seagulls perhaps, just in white gouache. There we go. Just a few birds, maybe one right over on the right hand side, perhaps. No, maybe that's enough, the 3 birds. I think the 3 birds are enough, I think so. Sign my name in here. Just very basic watercolor. We're yet to fix up that rock on the right hand side. Just don't seem to, I don't know, I don't like the brown. Maybe if we take the masking tape off first and have a look. Yeah, no, I think we will change that. So on the final reveal, you'll see that rock on the right hand side looking a little bit different. Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm yet to put some darker definition under those waves there in the background. I just want to put a little bit of darker definition under some of those waves there. So I'm just quickly mixing up some colour now. We'll put some definition under those waves. Yeah, that's all we want, just in the background there. Just a bit darker in spots, in areas. It'll just give it a bit more depth. Just smooth that out a bit. And remember, we're going to change that rock colour as well. So that'll be on the final reveal photo or video that we do. So that looks a bit better. It's just darkened up some areas with those waves there. Just run some across the top here. Okay, that's our final reveal. That's what it looks like now. See, I've changed that colour on that rock on the right-hand side. It's a bit darker in areas. So I think it looks a bit better there now. And there it is, just a bit of action there with the water surging onto the beach. A couple of birds in the sky there. And that rock is a nice darker colour. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We'll have another watercolour soon.